Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers host QB prospect compared to former top 5 pick, ex-Pitt starter, report. The Pittsburgh Steelers reportedly haven't set their eyes away from veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers. But when it comes to scouting signal caller prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Steelers have left no stone unturned. Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz reported Monday the Steelers were hosting Syracuse quarterback Kyle Mccord for a visit. Mccord led the Orange to a 10-3 record in his lone season with the program. Kyle Mccord, who led the nation in passing last season, has acquitted himself well throughout the draft process with a series of good interviews and impressive on-the-board work, tweeted Schultz. The Fox Sports Insider also reported that Mccord was set to visit the New York Giants on Tuesday. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein labeled Mccord a third- or fourth-round pick. But interestingly, Zierlein compared Mccord's playing style to former number 2 overall selection Mitch Trubisky. Pocket passer with good size who played in a high-volume, pro-passing scheme that should give him a head start as a pro. Mccord was too inconsistent at Ohio State, relative to the talent around him, but he proved to be confident and productive last season at Syracuse without that same level of supporting talent, Zierlein wrote. His fundamentals are usually solid, and he plays with adequate poise in the face of pressure. He has enough arm to make window throws and push the ball around the field. Mccord seeks to attack coverages vertically instead of operating as a check-down Charlie. While he can hit chunk throws, his decision-making and ball placement aren't always good fits for his gunslinger mentality. His mobility inside and outside the pocket is average. Mccord has good size, adequate talent and commendable resilience. He could find a home as a backup quarterback with modest upside. Mccord seeks to attack coverages vertically instead of operating as a check-down Charlie. While he can hit chunk throws, his decision-making and ball placement aren't always good fits for his gunslinger mentality. His mobility inside and outside the pocket is average. Mccord has good size, adequate talent and commendable resilience. He could find a home as a backup quarterback with modest upside. After 3 seasons at Ohio State to begin his college career, Mccord flourished with the Orange during 2024. Mccord posted a nation-high 4,779 passing yards last season. He also had more passing attempts and completions than any other quarterback in the country. Mccord led the ACC with 12 interceptions but also had 34 passing touchdowns along with 3 rushing scores. The 2025 NFL Draft will begin in 10 days, on Thursday, April 24. With their 3 visitors Monday, the Steelers have hosted 29 prospects. Each NFL team is allowed 30 non-local visitors every spring. Where Mccord could be selected in 2025 NFL Draft. Even if the Steelers sign Rodgers, the team drafting a quarterback at number 21 overall isn't off the table. Since Ben Roethlisberger retired after the 2021 season, the Steelers have experienced a lot of instability behind center. If the organization sees a first-round quarterback available that could be a potential fix to that issue, the Steelers are likely to take a chance on that signal caller. But Sanders could be a top 5 selection, and it's not clear the Steelers are convinced Dart is worth a first-round pick. Without a second-round pick because of the DK Metcalf trade, though, should the Steelers address a different need in the first round, they may have to wait until late on day 2 to select a quarterback. Mccord is very likely to be available late on day 2 and perhaps even after that. The Syracuse signal caller made a jump on Bleacher Report's latest big board to number 129 overall. But he remains projected to be a later selection on other big boards. Steelers land big-name DL, trade up for QB in ESPN's latest 3-round mock draft by Josh Carney posted on April 15, 2025 at 8:15 a.m. Without a second-round pick due to the DK Metcalf trade earlier this offseason, the Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in a bit of a difficult situation leading up to the 2025 NFL Draft with just 2 picks inside the top 100, and too many holes to try and fill at premium positions with those draft picks. Not having that second round really throws some things off when it comes to shaping the draft board, at least from the media side. But ESPN's Field Yates and Mel Kiper Jr. came up with a creative way to address two massive holes for the Steelers at positions of need. In an alternating picks 3-round mock draft for ESPN.com Tuesday morning, Yates and Kiper paired the Steelers with Oregon defensive lineman Derek Harmon at number 21 overall in the first round, and then got aggressive early in the third round, moving up 15 spots to land Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe at number 68 overall in a trade with the Las Vegas Raiders, giving Pittsburgh an explosive developmental QB for head coach Mike Tomlin and company to work with moving forward. Our latest videos at number 21, Harmon wasn't a surprise, even with the pick falling to Yates and not Kiper, as the longtime ESPN draft guru had previously paired Harmon with the Steelers twice in his final 2 mock drafts. Yates got the memo, apparently. Harmon led all FBS players in pressures from a DT alignment last season, 34. And while the defensive line is strong in Pittsburgh, the roster could start looking to the future, Yates writes regarding the selection of Harmon for the Steelers. Cameron Hayward will be 36 this season, so I like the idea of building with Harmon and Keanu Benton. And as for the quarterback situation, I'm holding off. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are off the board. It makes sense to wait until later in the draft and sign Aaron Rodgers. In this scenario, Sanders went number 9 to the New Orleans Saints, leaving Ole Miss QB Jackson Dart on the board. Yates previously mocked Dart to the Steelers at number 21 in his own mock draft, but passed here, addressing the trenches for the Steelers. Harmon has been a consistent, popular name connected to the Steelers throughout the pre-draft process. From all accounts, it's a great crop of defensive linemen, and the Steelers have a chance at number 21 overall to add a high-end, impactful defensive lineman. That's where Harmon comes in. Steelers host sleeper quarterback on pre-draft visit. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be taking an extra look at Day 2 quarterback prospect Kyle Mccord. The only update on the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation is that there is no update. Aaron Rodgers is somewhere, seemingly anywhere but Pittsburgh. Mason Rudolph sits atop the depth chart, and the Steelers have a vague interest in the draft's quarterbacks. Picking 21st in the first round, Pittsburgh is in a questionable position to draft a passer. Perhaps too late for Shedeur Sanders and too early for Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, the Steelers may have to wait until round 3 for its next roll of the dice under center. Fortunately for Pittsburgh, the class is more crowded on day 2 than it is in round 1, providing a handful of options at the quarterback position. As such, the front office is doing its due diligence on the class, investigating potential pivots, or successors, to Rodgers. On Monday, the Steelers hosted sleeper quarterback Kyle Mccord on a pre-draft visit, per Jordan Schultz. Mccord fits squarely into the Pittsburgh passers of recent memory, startable, but rather uninspiring, and probably capable of piloting a first-round playoff exit. However, that's not necessarily a knock on Mccord, whose stock rose after a transfer to Syracuse. He led the nation in passing yards, 4,779, with 34 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. With big game experience at Ohio State and marked improvement in his final season, he looks the part of a pocket passer. Mccord has enough arm talent to stretch the field and make tough throws to the sideline, although his aggressiveness did lead to him leading the ACC in interceptions in 2024. He's rather still in the pocket, standing tall amid pressure both to his benefit and detriment. Without elite arm strength or athleticism, his upside is limited, but he profiles as a high-floor prospect, if you're willing to believe in the premise. As things stand, there isn't any reason to believe the Steelers are more interested in Mccord than any other quarterback in the class, but they can ill afford to miss out on information in the days before the draft. Expect him to be drafted either late on day 2 or early on day 3. Are you a fan? What do you think about Kyle McCord's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.